Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to do a little bit of a blood transfusion on the Jag. Basically I'm going to transfer some of the automatic transmission fluid and replenish with a new one, and as you can see in here I've already started the process, and that is the color of the gearbox at the moment. Roughly I've removed the now 2.5 liters, and I'm going to carry on with the process. I'm using an electric pump connected to the wife's Focus, and it is picking up the feed directly from here, from the dipstick tube of the gearbox. And the process is going at the moment. The fluid is transferring over. You might think that is a bit too black, and here is the real color of the transmission fluid. I probably could have dropped the pan at the bottom of the transmission, but to be fair, you never get rid of all the oil. I will do the replacement of the filter at some point, but now just makes things a little bit easier, and because I don't have another filter, I'm going to basically transfer the old fluid onto a reservoir, and the amount that I have transferred over I will replenish with the same quantity of the new fresh automatic transmission fluid. Now I'm going to measure how much oil will I need with this old Brita jug. Oh, look at that, it's absolutely horrendous. It's like chocolate. And I'm going to mark the level with a Sharpie. It might look unlevel in here, but that's the shape of the jug itself. And also I will actually measure on the same place as well when I put the nice new fluid in. So after I've emptied the jug, I gave it a very good clean inside, make sure that there was no debris. It looks a bit dirty, but that's just only the outside. And then with a bit of Dextron DX3, which is the type of oil used for these Jag's transmission. Oh, and look at that, pure liquid cherry, an absolute contrast compared to the older chocolatey color. And also bet that the power steering fluid is the same thing, which will also be subject to fluid change in a future video. And there you go, it's up to the mark. I'm just going to let it settle for a bit, and then we pour it back onto the car. And it's always useful to have quite a few bits of paper to soak up any eventual spillages. Now that the new fluid is in, the best thing to do is now to start the car and go through all the gears. It's not really yet the time to check for the level, because the engine is still cold, and for that I will go on to how to check the level of the transmission fluid in just a few moments. now I'm adding more fluid. So I've extracted about 2 liters of the old fluid. As you could see, it was still pretty dark, but much better than what it was on the first 2 extractions. So this is the third extraction and top up, which should increase the concentration of new fluid on the transmission. Okay, now I have been on a drive with the car for the last half an hour. I did roughly 20 miles or so on the motorway up and down. Just make sure that the car would change gears nice and smoothly, the kickdown would work perfectly, and everything is going on very well. Now, to check the fluid for one last time, there is a process that needs to be followed, and that process is described on the Vehicle Care Handbook, which is part of your owner's manual package. You will see on page 30 of how to check the fluid, and it's not a simple way like it's done to check the engine oil level. In here, so it says in here, before checking fluid level, the transmission must be at normal operating temperature after driving for at least 24 kilometers or 50 miles. I drove a little bit more than that, so the engine is nice and hot. And in here, you have to be careful because you have to park the vehicle on a flat level surface, and you put it in park, let it run at idling speed for a few minutes, and then press the brake pedal, move the selector through the entire range and ensure the transmission is primed, return to park and allow the engine to idle again. You just remove the dipstick, wipe it clean and check for the fluid level by replacing and redrawing it again. And if necessary, you just add the correct specification of fluid, in this case the Dextron 3, to bring it to the level between the minimum and max. And that's it. And one thing very important here, that the cold side of the dipstick is only for Jaguar dealer reference only. Now let's go and put these instructions in practice. Now I'm going to press the brake pedal and move the selector lever through the entire range to ensure that the transmission system is primed. Then return the selector lever to park and allow the engine to idle. So let's do that now. Like so. Go through the entire range. Okay, and now let's go and check. Okay, so this is the one. I'm going to clean it. And there you go. It's right in between. And there you go, third reading. It's between the lines. So, perfect. And that's it. That's how you check the fluid on your Jaguar XJ X300. Always follow the instructions that come on the manual. but I understand that many of these cars don't come with a minimum amount of literature, so it's always good to check and find online how to do it. This also shows the importance of doing fluid flushes. We understand that when you change the filter on the gearbox, which it will be done at some point, you only actually remove about 3.5, sometimes 4 liters of fluid from your automatic gearbox, and to be perfectly honest, that's probably just about under half of the full capacity of these ZF gearboxes. Therefore, doing these flushes, it will actually increase the concentration of the new fluid. You've seen on a while ago how it looked so horrendous, and now once I checked the fluid, it looked a nice, more translucid cherry color, which is much better for the gearbox and for its health, really. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Take care.